Good day, everyone, and welcome to 12 at 12. Today we have Sheila Cuffy presenting. She's adjunct faculty in general education, and she's going to speak about the feedback sandwich. So I'm going to make her screen show up now. I can see it. Go for it.
Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining me today. Today, we're going to be discussing the feedback sandwich. Oops, sorry. As we all know that in the jobs that we do, feedback is an essential part of our continuing job as educators. And it's not necessarily my favorite part, but it's one of the most important things I think that we do. When we focus on our feedback should help our students to maximize their potential at different stages within our course, and it should also raise their awareness of strengths that they have. It should also raise their awareness of areas that need to be improved, and it should also identify actions to be taken to help them improve their performance. So this is why feedback is such an essential part of what we're doing. In evaluating and trying many feedback methods, I found the feedback sandwich as one of my most beneficial methods, and I would like to share it with you. So, what is actually the feedback sandwich? The feedback sandwich actually, I'm sorry, just a second. Okay, oops. The feedback sandwich minimizes our detrimental effects of the negative feedback that we may have to give to our individual students, and it ensures that the learner is not discouraged and remains motivated to learn after they receive our feedback. So we don't want to just make them feel like there's no hope for them, but we want to try to give them some kind of motivation to keep on going. And after we give feedback, we definitely don't want our students to be stressed. We don't want them to say, I hate sandwiches, although sometimes they may still say it, but we want to try to minimize this part. The feedback sandwich is so named because the pieces of bread represent positive feedback or compliments, while the meat of the sandwich, or the innards, since I'm a vegetarian, I don't really particularly like meat, represents constructive criticism. So now we're going to go over each individual part. The first slice of bread is how we will start our feedback to our students. This is where you would start off with positive feedback, but try to make it authentic praise of something they actually did do that was good. For example, you could say something like, thank you for making the effort to complete this assignment. If you can't say anything else good, we can at least say that part. Or you could say something like, I really appreciate you working on this week's assignment, and the type of effort that you have shown shows that you value the input in completing your education. So just something that is a positive feedback, something that you can say that they really did that was good. Then we're going to move on to the meat of the matter. This is where you are going to not necessarily hit them hard, but you're going to provide your constructive criticism. And the thing about this is that during this part, we have to be clear and very thorough in the delivery of what we're going to tell them. We want them to receive our constructive criticism on items from the lesson rubric or the grading criteria. And you want them to make sure that we don't bombard them with, you did this wrong, you did that wrong, you did that wrong, this wrong, this wrong, this wrong, this wrong. try to, if you can, minimize it to just the top two and at the most three things, but try to make it as less as you can. Because I found that when I gave them critical thoughts or criticism about like every little thing that they did wrong, then they became discouraged very easily. So I try to make it so that I try to stick to at least the two most essential parts that's on the grading criteria. So that way they don't get too bombarded with it. An example of how we could deliver the meat part of the feedback sandwich would be saying like however, like after you've already given the wonderful acclimates that you started them with, then you can say something like, however, you did not add the required discussions with your classmates. This is an important requirement for this assignment, and it helps to demonstrate your ability to communicate with your classmates. Please try to make it a habit to check and follow your grading criteria and the examples that were provided to you. So therefore, not only are you telling them what they did wrong, but you are trying to guide them to how they could do it better. So the meat of the sandwich not only provides their constructive criticism, but it also in some ways provides them hope so that they know that even though they did this wrong, you try to explain to them exactly what was expected and exactly the fact that they can at least have some type of a guide to try to be better. Lastly, the second slice of bread is that we should end on a positive note. So, for example, on this one, you can say something like, if you need assistance with understanding the requirements, please contact me. I am here for you and I'm proud of your start in this course. So, in other words, when you end, you want to also let them know that you are there and readily available to help them to improve or to encourage them to keep going at this level so that they can continue to be given the opportunity to receive the feedback that they need, but also understand that they can also come to you for any type of help or assistance that they need so that they can be better. I find that this method of sandwiching the constructive criticism between the two compliments to be an effective way to help my students improve and also to correct mistakes without letting them know that basically they're doing everything wrong. So we need to start making great sandwiches. We need to start giving our students the feedback that we know is necessary, but at the same time, give them hope that they can improve and that they can make a better decision in completing their assignments. So, great teachers give great feedback. The feedback sandwich is one way to organize your feedback so it's more balanced and easier to deliver. It's it's just a way so that your students do not have to receive big chunks of you didn't do this right, you didn't do this right, but they start seeing that you actually see a glimmer of hope within them. So, as educators, we need to strive to become a star chef, making sandwiches your students actually love. And with a little practice, we'll soon be dishing out sandwiches that maybe perhaps are a little bit more palatable for our students, and they won't have as many complaints when they receive the feedback. A couple of them sometimes will come back and say, I greatly appreciate the feedback that you gave me. It really bolstered my way to improve in this class, and I feel that I gained such a great knowledge from all the feedback that you gave me. So maybe perhaps that'll be our tip that's left on the table. I hope that you enjoyed this, and I'm sure that we are going to be great chefs when we see our students.
Um, Sheila, what I was going to mention too, like this type of feedback order is very effective both in written form and in video feedback, um, depending on what's the best way to deliver. I teach in the photo side, and I try to use that through my video feedback. And what's nice about it is the tone that you set with video feedback can really help them not to be defensive and know that you have their best interests in mind.
Exactly. Yeah, because I found out that when I started giving like loads of you didn't do this, you didn't do that, you didn't do this, then it like overwhelmed them. So I try to make sure that I always try to like you said, like start with positive, end with positive, and it seems like it becomes more palatable for them. They seem to take it better.
For sure. And they don't get discouraged, which is most important.
Yes, exactly.
Wonderful. Well, thank you for presenting today, and I will see you all next week.
Thank you.
Okay, bye bye.
Goodbye.